Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Jake. You can also call me Atrocious, and today we are going to be going over the Fukuoka Championships in the OP08 format. A very exciting couple rounds that we've seen on this channel. If you haven't checked out any of the other videos, feel free to check out the channel, as this is my own English commentary for the championships, not affiliated with Bandai, unfortunately, not yet at least, hopefully. But before we get into it, a couple things. We know, and you know, as in the title and thumbnail, that it is a Rob Lucci and Red Purple Law finals, but I'm curious to know your opinion of this Blackbeard card that they revealed, this Blackbeard card. I've seen a couple different reactions to it in terms of people who think it's good, people who think it's bad. So let me know what you think. It's a 4 or 5 life, 5,000 power, 4 Emperors, Blackbeard Pirates, Black Leader. Your on-play abilities don't activate, so this deck in general would not play on-play abilities because you're not allowed to do it. But it also has this activate main effect. You may trash 1 card from your hand until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent's on-play abilities don't activate. So even though you can not play on-play effects of your own, neither can your opponents if you trash a card in hand. So again, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I know it's kind of the hot topic of YouTube right now and the card game community, because a lot of people are just excited that Blackbeard Marshall D Tech is going to be a leader in the coming future. But let's focus on this video. Red Purple Law versus Rob Lucci. We've seen both of these players in this tournament so far with their respected wins. Could be interesting where they want to go. We'll see what the hands look like for this. It looks like the Rob Lucci player has already decided whether or not they want to keep it. They're just awaiting the response of the other player, something that we see a ton in these tournaments. We usually see one person figure it out first. Both players deciding to keep their hand, so we'll see what the hands are and if it bodes well for them. And so looking at the Red Purple Law player's hand, we see the Zoro that we see as like a 1 or 2 of, and a lot of these different Red Purple Law decks is going to be in the starting hand, along with this Kid and Killer. Going to be a couple different rush cards, and with the Eustace Captain Kid and the Reiju and Sachi Penguin, going to have plenty of opportunities for draw. Going to see how good this start is for the Red Purple Law player. The Rob Lucci player keeping this hand, going to have the Ennis Lobby. We saw how strong the Ennis Lobby was in the starting hand for them last round. Going to have that same thing with the Rebecca and also Rob Lucci. The Rebecca, another card that you can't really get off of your searches and stuff, off like Spandine and whatnot. So very nice to keep this hand. Also got a couple 2Ks, and it looks like the Red Purple Law player, I think, is going first. And so here we go. The finals are set. Let's get this match underway. It's going to be first a Dawn and pass for the player on the left, the Red Purple Law. Going to be drawing and playing down 2 Dawn. Probably going to be playing this Ennis Lobby from hand right now. Immediately on curve. Such a strong card to start out this game. And with 3 Dawn right here, a couple different options in Pudding or Zoro. Maybe wanting to play the Zoro right now to get another swing. The Pudding, especially with that Ennis Lobby right there, the Pudding you would think would get popped right away in this game. But if you play the Pudding and then also do the Sachi Penguin, you might be able to use leader effect, get 2 characters on the field. We've seen this play before, but it just passes, it looks like, after the Pudding, not using the leader effect to get back to 3 Dawn and 2 bodies on the field. Going to be 4 Dawn overall right now, and so going to be using that leader effect, going to be getting 2 cards in the trash, a Tempest Kick and a Spandine. Going to be minusing 1 the Pudding, and so the Ennis Lobby could be another one. Going to be curious about what they decide to do, and after taking that life right there, going to be getting a Black Maria. They do have a Jack and a Gecko in hand, so going to be using that for Khalifa. The Khalifa is going to be nice for anyone who does not know, because that Khalifa is a draw 2, trash 2, and then you do a -2 for the opposing character. So going to draw two, found a Brook and a zero cost event. So we could potentially expect to see Brook hit the bin. We saw it in combination with the Rebecca earlier in this game, but we could see it's interesting to see what could be pitched in terms of this hand. The Jack and the Gecko, you know you're not going to be able to get those back. If you do that situation like I presented, the Jack right here going to be pitched alongside the Rob Lucci. The Rob Lucci you're going to be able to get back through the Rebecca and then play down that Brook. So not a bad situation right now overall with 4 cards in the trash. Going to get a little bit closer to activating the Tempest Kick. The Pudding does survive right here, not wanting to use too many resources to be able to get rid of it. And now at 5 Dawn right here, could play something like the Eustace Captain Kidd if they wanted to, but they would still have 6 cards in hand to play off of the Reiju for the leader effect and get 2 Dawn back. So is going to be doing that bottom decking. Not going to bottom deck anything because you didn't minus, but you are going to be able to, with the leader effect, go ahead and play it looks like they're opting to play the Sachi Penguin instead. So I don't know if I would have played the Sachi Penguin, but with the Sachi Penguin, now you do go up to 6 Dawn right now. So you actually hurdle the Rob Lucci in terms of Dawn. Now you're actually ahead of them on the Dawn without playing a Black Maria. So what I thought was a good play actually maybe would not have been the most ideal play, right? Because of course you do get to draw a couple cards as the Reiju, but now you get more Dawn as the with the Sachi Penguin. So interesting choice in there. We'll see how it pays out for him. And with that life being taken, did get I think a Khalifa off of life, and so going to be going into 6 Dawn. Both players now even at 6. Going to be top decking a Subaru, so another 2k in hand, going to be nice for your defense and potential minusing if you can get that in the trash. I'm sorry, the life that they got was a Kaku in there, that 5-drop Kaku that we've seen in these Rob Lucci lists. And so thinking about what they want to do, going to be minusing 2 right there off of the Ennis lobby, going to be putting that kid down to 3 overall, and so resting what looks like 5, and going to be playing that Kaku, going to be putting 2 CP cards back into the bottom of the deck and KOing a 3 cost or less. Just going to be taking care of that kid, so then this swing is completely free. Going to be trashing 2 to -1. It looks like it's going to be the Pudding, and with 1 Dawn, could attach this 1 Dawn to the Khalifa and swing. You want this Khalifa maybe to get a little bit of value on there, maybe apply a little bit of pressure, because right now it's just kind of sitting there after your opponent takes this life on this 5k swing. And so going to be attaching that 1 Dawn, swinging 5, going to probably be countering out of this one, going to be a Pudding. You've got a Pudding on the field. It is getting value already, and so if it goes away, you feel like it got what it needed in this game. Having a Black Maria though, we'll see if Black Maria comes down to continue the pace of Dawn in this one. Going to be at 8 Dawn now, a full step ahead of this Rob Lucci. Insane what this deck is able to do at certain points. And so going to be curious, not seeing any power minusing though. That's the big key, I think, of this red purple law in this finals match. You've got no power minusing to be able to bottom deck these characters. You can't even bottom deck this Khalifa that is doing this poke damage against you. This Kaku, as of right now, is going to stay on the field. The Khalifa is going to stay on the field if not knocked out by a battle from your leader or character. It's going to be very tough to get rid of these bodies, so maybe that's why they kind of prioritized the value in getting more Dawn to be able to continuously play down these characters and provide fights for the opponent. Could rest the 3 to play the Zoro. I think that's maybe what they're eyeing up, or potentially the Black Maria at this point. Could do something along the lines of play the Zoro, swing like 5, play the Kid Killer, swing 6, and then use leader effect to play something like Reiju and draw 2 cards. that would get 3 5K or bigger bodies on the field. But before that, we are going to battle this Khalifa. The pudding being able to stay on the field is going to be a nice option in fighting the Khalifa, and they are just going to let that go, saying, you know what? Khalifa got a ton of value doing that swing, so I'm just going to let that go. Rather have that in the trash to be able to get off of the Rebecca anyways if I wanted to, or maybe off of the Gecko in the coming turn. So going to be all 8 done, playing a 3-drop character by the looks of it. If you were to get rid of this Rebecca through a counter, right, if they swing 5 at life, you would be able to get that back immediately through the Gecko. And then if you also countered out with the Brook, or maybe kept the Brook in hand, you would be able to play that down and potentially KO a character off of this. So going to be curious. We could see the Rebecca stay on the field, because at a 8 dawn turn, you could see Rebecca and Rob Lucci be played. But with the Brook right here, not going to be playing the Brook at least right now, and countering out of these different swings to only have 4 in hand. So this 3-drop is going to be that Zoro. Like I mentioned, the Zoro is going to swing because it has Rush going at life. Maybe you want to take it right here. Unclear on what they want to do. Could use 4 to play the Reiju. You could hard play Reiju at this point and then use leader effect to play the Sanji, I believe. Maybe. No, you wouldn't be able to play the Sanji because you wouldn't be too far behind on Dawn. But the Who's Who is going to take out the pudding right there. So with that Who's Who trigger KOing a 5 cost or less, or I'm sorry, is it a 3 cost or less? I think it's a 3 cost or less. But getting rid of that pudding right there, that is going to be 1 less on that they're going to get back through their leader effects right now. So as of right now, every time that you use leader effect, it's going to be a Dawn gone. So using that leader effect now, going to be playing that Reiju since they're going to be behind on Dawn, and with 5 or less cards, going to be drawing 2 right here. It's going to be a Raise Max. The Raise Max is nice, but it's going to have to wait until next turn. That 5, though, is going to get a Queen, and they're going to play that Queen. So excellent draw to be able to sustain in this game, but going back down to 4 Dawn after your draw 2 trash 1, getting a Kid Killer and a Sachi Penguin pitching that pudding. So now we go up to 8 Dawn for the Rob Lucci. Gecko is a factor in this one right now, and going to be drawing for a turn with that Tempest kick right there. Not enough in trash really to get full value off of the Tempest kick, I feel like right now, but maybe through the leader effect. I wasn't able to count how many cards they had in trash there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they have something like 7 cards, maybe 8 cards at this point. And so with 8 cards potentially in the trash, a leader effect would be able to get you to 10 and use that -3 effect. You would be able to get rid of some characters. Could do something along the lines of using this leader effect, going to be getting to a Kaku and a Gecko. You don't really like seeing Gecko, but it'll have to do. The Queen is going to block as that -1 cost goes to the Zoro. So the Zoro now sitting at 2. The Ennis Lobby is going to be another one. And so it looks like this 6K swing maybe going at the Sachi and Penguin right now. And so it's going to be a 2K counter regardless of if it goes to lead or the Sachi Penguin. The Ennis Lobby is going to minus the Queen, putting the Queen at 3. And so a Gecko is coming down now. Could be a Rob Lucci and a Suru right here. Rob Lucci and Suru hit. It's going to be -2 on the Queen to make Zoro 2, Queen 1, and the Rob Lucci putting 3 cards back is going to be able to KO both of those strong bodies. An excellent choice from the Rob Lucci player. And just like that, they have 3 6,000 power or more characters on the field. So top decking a Kid Blocker now at 6 Dawn. Going to be interesting to see where they go. They could use the Raise Max at this point to get rid of the Rob Lucci, and then maybe try to utilize some swings to get rid of the Kaku, right? To get rid of both bodies in general here. Going to be interesting to see where they play this. The Sanji is in effect, especially off of a leader effect, to be able to be played for only 3 cost. And so thinking where they want to go right now, they do have that Eustace Captain Kid, again, a 5 cost right there, but with the Ennis Lobby and leader effect, you're always afraid of the hard play 5s. You want to potentially play as many things as possible to really overflow the board for this Rob Lucci, because with only 2 life left and plenty of big bodies staring at you in the face, could be difficult here in the near future to get this one. And so starting out with a 5k swing, it is going to, is that at Suru? No way, it had to have been at lead, right? There's no way you swing that into Suru. But looking at this, going to be thinking of different options to be able to do this. Could, if it's at lead, just take this life. It would be a more tough start, I feel like. I would maybe consider pitching the Khalifa right here, even though it's a 2k. The Rebecca is going to be really nice to be able to get a card back in hand overall. But if you end up taking this life, it could be something good. We have a couple different triggers in this deck with the 0 cost, the Tempest Kick, the Ennis Lobby, the Who's Who that we saw earlier could be something that provides a lot of help in this later stages of the turn. With what is 6 cards in hand right now, Reiju is something that could be played down if you're the Rob Lucci player thinking in this one. We obviously know that there's no Reiju in hand, but using the Khalifa to pitch, the Khalifa being pitched is going to mean that probably they're going to take at least 1 life later in this turn. But this 5k swing right here might be the one that they end up taking, and it is going to be potentially a trigger. We'll see exactly what that trigger is in here. Going to be thinking of a couple different options, probably not a Who's Who. And what was that card? I didn't get to see it. It's going to be, oh, it's a Rob Lucci. So no trigger on the Rob Lucci, but going to be resting 1 and resting 5 for the Eustace Captain Kid and the Raise Max. It's going to bottom deck, it looks like, that Rob Lucci, and they'll get 1 Dawn back as active through the card. And with only 2 life right now, it is going to activate the Kid and Killer, and so going in and attaching 1 active Dawn, swinging 6 now at lead. Maybe try to go at lead and then KO this Kaku, or maybe trying to like rush life down at this point. Could be tough, I feel like, for this Rob Lucci player right now at this stage of the game, because with only a couple cards that have counter, and those couple cards being the 0 cost and the Rebecca, the Rebecca is probably going to hit the field in the next turn and be able to get a 2k back, which is going to be very nice. And so you're going to have 5k worth of counter to be able to defend yourself in this next turn. Going to be taking this life right here and going to be getting another Khalifa. So this 7,000 power swing is going to go in. I wouldn't mind, honestly, either using the 0 cost event or maybe pitching Khalifa Rebecca. At this point, you would go down to 0 life if you decide to take this, and that's a scary place with all of these cards staring at you in the face. The 0 cost event would get around this Rob Lucci, the Kid and Killer, the perfect Kid Killer counter, I would say, with this 0 cost event. We saw how strong it was at the end of the top 4 round. And knowing that this player, we saw their deck list in the previous video, and don't worry, we'll show their deck list again at the end of this one. The 0 cost event is very strong in being able to get rid of 7,000 power swings in this game. So do have to pitch a card on top of that. Thinking about pitching potentially the Rob Lucci. That would be nice because it is a card that is not in the hand anymore. You already used leader effect, so you only have that 1 blocker there. And with the Rebecca, I think you would have a way with the Tempest Kick minusing some, the Ennis Lobby minusing some. You would be able to Rebecca into Brook and KO the blocker for another body on board, and then also being able to let these Kaku and Gecko Moria and Rob Lucci leader swings go through. So a curious spot for the Rob Lucci player, looking to see what they can do at this stage of the game. I think maybe using the zero cost event on the Rob Lucci is the correct play as they're doing right now. I think it probably gives you the best option in going forward. And so passing the turn off, going to be drawing for turn. What's the draw for turn? It's another NS lobby. Then an NS lobby could be good if you want to get rid of multiple characters in a row. But since you just pitched that Rob Lucci, I don't know if that's going to be in the cards for you at this point. And so thinking about the one Dawn is probably going to be that Tempest Kick to be able to potentially do some damage right here. You do want to have all your swings kind of connect in some form or fashion. You probably don't want to get rid of a free block right here for the useless Captain Kidd. I think you want to potentially pop the Kidd in some form or fashion before you really start swinging. And with a Tempest Kick that could get rid of several cards, going to be attaching 1 and potentially swinging 6 and trashing 2 to be able to maybe get this Tempest Kick online. Remember that when the Tempest Kick is used in the field of play, it hits the bin, and then as soon as you're playing it, it's considered a trashed card that would count as one of your 10 cards in the trash to get that -3 effect. So really you only need 9 cards in general in trash before you play that card. And so getting rid of a Jack and Rob Lucci, going to be minusing the Kidd, going to put it at a 4 cost overall on this 6K swing. Maybe swinging at one of the characters is going to prompt a Black Maria block. I think it was towards the Kidd and Killer, which I do not hate that play. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like maybe they have just enough for this Tempest Kick to get the -3. So here's the Tempest Kick, going to be drawing 1. What is it? It looks like it's going to be a Gecko. Gecko could be played in this turn for the Rob Lucci to be able to KO some characters. Going to be doing this -3 somewhere on the field because of this Rob Lucci putting it at 4 and the NS lobby putting it at 4. You could use the Tempest Kick to -3 on something like the Kidd Killer, right? And then play the Gecko for the Rob Lucci to KO both of these characters, because your Kidd would be at 2 overall and your Kidd and Killer being at 1. So in my head, what I would do is I would have done the -3 on the Kidd Killer, and I would be looking at using the Gecko to be able to get some stuff back in there. You could also use like Spandam. I think we have a Spandam in trash. The Spandam would be used as the potential other card that comes back off of the Gecko to do a little bit of searching, maybe find a 2K in a Khalifa, right? We've seen a couple Khalifas, might be able to find another one in here. The Kaku has 1K counter as well, so that could be nice. Just any counter that we can get overall, and that -3 is going to be going for that Kidd Killer. We'll see. They're eyeing up the Gecko. The Gecko could be played down, and it is the Gecko coming down with the rest of the 8 Dawn. Going to be playing the Spandam and then replacing the Sewer with the Rob Lucci. First, probably going to be using the Spandam effect of the 2 to be taking the trash and seeing what they can grab. The zero cost event is going to be so good. That's 3,000 extra counter to get rid of this NS lobby, and now you have a total of, quick math, 6,000 counter in hand to be able to defend against the swings. With the Rob Lucci putting back those 3 cards at the bottom of the deck, you're in such a strong spot right now, and you're probably going to be clearing board almost right here. So swinging this 6, going to be prompting the 2K counter, but this Gecko is going to be taking out the Reiju, and just like that, we'll see with 1 life left if the red purple law can get through this game. No blockers, 6 Dawn right now, and with the 6 Dawn as well, you're going to be able to counter out of one of the swings. Obviously, they're probably eyeing up the Kidd Killer that's in their hand. Going to be swinging 7. You saw the zero cost event. The zero cost event is going to come down and be 8,000. So you need both of these swings to hit in the game. What you can do is an 8K swing off of the leader with the law, and if you hit for lead, right, only 2 cards in hand, that's 8K total. Going to be swinging 7. Swinging 7 right here is going to prop the 2 counter cards and give basically the Lucci player the win right there, being able to counter out that swing. The 8 and the 8 would have been potentially the magic number depending on what this last life is. If this life had counter, you would have been able to get rid of both swings, but going to be using that 3, getting rid of the Spandam and playing the Kid Killer. The Kid Killer is going to be swinging 9 now. It's going to be at the Gecko, getting rid of the Gecko. And here's the thing with the red purple law, with 1 card left in hand, 2 life, I don't know if you'll be able to survive in this one with all of these swings. Attach 1 for 7 with only 1 card in hand. It's going to be a guarantee. Another queen, another 9, and then the rest of the dawn on the Kaku. The Rob Lucci wins the Fukuoka Championships. Rob Lucci dethrones red purple law. We saw the absolute strength of several of these different cards in the zero cost event. Such a good deck right now. I can't believe how awesome of a performance that was. The casters reenacting the zero cost event right there. Such a fun match, such a good match too. Really felt like back and forth for a little bit, but then especially in the late game with no minusing cards, right? We didn't see any promo laws. The Gordons and Raise Maxes came late. The Gum Gum 6 Kings, whatever that card is called. Anyways, I'm so happy for this game. Rob Lucci dethroning the red purple law. Hopefully now, especially with this list that will show right now, right here. Here is the winning list. I'm going to make sure to like it and retweet it now that I've seen it. With the winning list right here, this is the same list that we saw in the last video if you ended up watching that. Just a really cool list overall. Again, the strength of the zero cost events, that's from OP03. So look through your OP03 bulk, and if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to go get it because it's a great card, and especially for people who are playing in OP07, right? For all my Western people in the people that watch the channel, the zero cost event is going to be good now in OP07, especially because Kid and Killer is still a threat in OP07. Red Purple Law gets better in OP07. It's not as strong as it is in OP08, obviously, but it is a very strong deck overall in OP07. So that zero cost event is going to be able to help you out, especially when you have some non-countered cards like extra Ennis Lobbies to be playing. The difference from OP08 is you don't have Jacks, though, in the deck. Jack is a very, very good card and who's who, so you're going to have to find replacements for those in OP07. But I think overall that this is a pretty good list. I think that this has a lot of flexibility in the different plays that it can make. I feel like sometimes maybe this deck doesn't have the aggressive discard that it needs sometimes, especially playing the Tempest kicks, but was able to continuously pace, didn't have a moment where they wanted to play Rob Lucci and didn't have 3 cards in the trash, always at least had 5, I believe, in that game once they really got going. So excellent showing from this. I know this is going to be a popular build in OP07, and I imagine a popular build in OP08 to try to counter red purple law, and excellent job. Congratulations to the winner, and again, thank you so much for an excellent production of the championships here. The official live stream, again, in the link in the description below if you want to go back and watch and not watch my other videos in Hear Me app. But thank you again so much for watching. We'll have some OP07 content coming soon with not only some games, but also some lists. There are a lot of cards that are getting much cheaper that are going to be played in OP07. Might want to think about getting some of those, and I'll tell you all those cards that get popular in the upcoming format. So thank you again so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope to see you in the next video, and yeah, just have a good day.